So now we have to discuss about Tholubommalata. This Tholubommalata, by the name itself, we can understand that it is not an art which is performed by a person. It is performed by using some pictures. Like Tholu means the skin, which is made of animal skin, and they used to have the pictures or the images which are made from 1 feet to 6 feet, and we used to have a troupe of members from 10 to 12 members. Especially they used to have 2 male singers who use for the male voices and 2 female singers for the female voices, and 3 to 4 persons to perform the musics like tambura, sitara and all these things. And these characters, they should be played in a wide place, and they used to have a rectangular white blanket to cover all these things. And they generally don't go for any new stories. They generally do the stories of Ramayana, Mahabharata, local heroes, or any wise stories. Like this, their key focus was generally to entertain the people. These people are the wandering groups people. They travel from one place to another place. They travel almost for 9 months in a year, in the opposite for getting grains or money. These people's main duty is to perform the art in a skillful manner and to entertain the people. They are also welcomed by the villagers, especially for any special festivals and occasions. Now many of them have left out their occupations and traditions, and they have moved on to the traditional, non-traditional jobs, and now we don't have much of the groups doing this Tholubommalata or all these things. Only the government is utilizing in some of the regions to pass on its messages of literacy, AIDS awareness campaigns, general awareness programs, or to get them connected to the people, whatever programs they want to pass on. These kind of policies which are not able to understand the common man, they used to perform the Tholubommalata, and they used to make them to reach to the people. But now most of the people have left this traditional great job. Now they have moved on to the non-traditional jobs. Bharatanatyam. As many of you know, Bharatanatyam is a traditional way of dancing. But actually, if you see the history, Bharatanatyam is taken from the word of Bharata's Natya Shastra, which many of us don't know that point. Now moving on to the facts, how did Bharatanatyam get into its fame, and how did it lose its importance, and how did it regain its importance, and today what is the position of Bharatanatyam. In performing the dance of Bharatanatyam, the specialists are the people, those who are known for their famous skills. Actually, Bharatanatyam was not in existence in the previous 100 years because it was called with different names. The different names are Sadir Natyam, Kuchipudi, or the Devadasi Attam, like that, the different names. These Devadasi dances were very famous during the olden days because I think we all are familiar with the Devadasi system. The Devadasi system is nothing but the offering of the young girls to the god in the name of Deva Dasi. Deva means god, Dasi means slave. Slave of god. They offer her themselves, and these girls who are offered as Devadasis are specialized in dancing. They will be trained in dancing and in the Natuvarnas and master of music and dance arting skills. But these girls are exploited by the priests and the influential people of the society at that point of time. So in order to bring awareness of the people, earlier these Devadasis used to dance very much, and this dance has acquired importance by their body postures and dances and all. It has gained its prominence and importance. But these people, even today also, they are specialized in dancing, and they are known as Natuvarnas. These people are very famous for their dancing skills. They are known as Natu Vanras. And these people, when they are performing the dances, their skill was extraordinary. But socially, this system was not appropriate because offering the young girls to the idols, to be frank, to the god in the name, to the idols, and who will be exploited by the priests and the influential people of the society, and they convert them into prostitutions, and morally this is not correct. So the voices are raised in the society against these kind of atrocities which are happening in our community at that point of time. As we all know, the famous person who raised his voices against the social evils, that is Kandukuri Veereslingam Pantulu in Andhra region and Bhagya Reddy Verma in Telangana region. Kandukuri Veereslingam from 1934 to Bhagya Verma in 1947 has struggled a lot to abolish the Devadasi system in Andhra as well as in Telangana regions. So after abolishing the Devadasi system, now the problem is that no one knew the dance. No one knows the talent of how to dance, all these things. So now the Bharatanatyam holders, the dancers, especially these Devadasis, have to face a lot of troubles because their traditional jobs were lost. And the banning of this system has made them to move on to the another non-traditional jobs. So during this period of time, in order to get back the revival of the status of the Bharatanatyam, there are many key people who brought the real beauty of the art only through art. Leaving it apart from the prostitution getting interlinked with Devadasi system, they have looked into the Devadasis dance and style of art, which later on got recognized as Indian treasures, that is the Bharatanatyam. So the first man to learn Bharatanatyam, he's a man who learned Bharatanatyam, was E. Krishna Iyer, who learned it and who used to perform it in wearing the traditional women dress in order to break the barriers and create a new impression and to clear all the myths. And later on, we have the efforts of Rukmini Devi, who was belonging to the Theosophical Society in Anna Pavalora, who advised them to learn the Indian traditional dance. She learned the dance and she performed the dance. So the efforts of E. Krishna Iyer, who learned the dance and performed in the Madras Music Society and initially there were many objections and criticisms raised against him. Later on it attracted the people's attention, and the efforts made by Rukmini Devi in 1935, her performance, her art, her synchronizing with the music, her body language, her movements, steps, all these things got connected to the people. It also got the support from the critics. So in this way, slowly the misconceptions or the misbeliefs which are present at the interest of the Bharatanatyam were started to move off, and Bharatanatyam turned to be truly, purely professional dancing style towards the gods, and the Devadasis dancing style was appropriate for that. And the major contribution for this was the legendary dancer Sri Bala Saraswati, who has performed the dances in the exact original style of Devadasi system. She also openly said that no need of any corrections which are required to be made because they are in the original form. In order to improvise it, you are spoiling the beauty of that. And her dances were really fantastic, and she used to live in that characters when she is performing the characteristics, used to feel the image of livingness. So in this process, the achievements of all these people and the non-Indians during the Indian national movement who want to find out about the India's original traditional values started to learn the Bharatanatyam dances, and it later on attracted many of the young youth of the Bharatanatyam people to learn them. These people started to learn it and to practice it. But the actual problem what we have is not the people of learning it. It is the masters who teach it. The original masters are the people who are very few in number, and they have settled in the regions of Tanjavur and the other regions of Tamil Nadu. That is the reason why, that is one of the reasons why by Bharatanatyam name itself, we feel it is associated with Tamil people, but actually it is not associated with Tamil people. It is owned by entire South Indians, and the Devadasi system is spread over entire South India. So now moving on to the facts. How is the Bharatanatyam in the present day status? Today Bharatanatyam, even after its a decade of 1970s and 80s, where Bharatanatyam has seen in the entire India as an art of performing dance, it has acquired the international status for it. It has got the fuels from the people, and the fans, number of people appreciating the dance of Bharatanatyam has been increased in tens, hundreds, thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, and started to fuel the spread of Bharatanatyam to larger context, and they made it very clear to understand that it is a pure form of art of dancing, and it is one of the pure treasures of the Indian land. And this treasure has some difficulties because the original masters, the Natuvarnas, are very less. Now the young people who are learning the dance cannot acquire it as a professional job because it does not get such an income which can fulfill the family's needs. So it's a second job. And one more reason is the young people start performing the dance and start teaching them in order to earn certain amount of money. And these people, instead of having the perfection with the very few dancers, it has moved on to the hundreds of people, where these people performing is only known as the art of dancing. So this dancing has got many changes, and it has got many obstacles, or better we call it as got modernized by having different kinds of people teaching at different corners. So the actual original form is still with the few Devadasi families who have owned it and performing it even at the kind of its abolition, and they have performed this dance. It was really fantastic dance. But this is not the story of only Bharatanatyam. It was a story of Kathakali, it was a story of this Kuchipudi and all the other traditional dances which have faced the lack of traditional dancers, modern dancers or the young dancers stepping in and getting it diverted. This kind of various things have manipulated the Bharatanatyam. So this is the great story of Bharatanatyam. We have covered the story of Burrakadalu, then we have learned about the Tholubommalata, how the people used to get entertained in the earlier days and how is it in the modern days. It's really great during the olden days.